your girl Roxiie with Roxiie Says, and we're gonna talk about it. How y'all doing? I know this video is a little bit late, but I was on vacation, child. I was having a good old time, but now I'm back, and today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 13. We've been rocking for some time, and I know that the decision day is coming up for the people on this show, but baby, today is your decision day. Today is your decision day. Why have you not hit subscribe yet? Huh? Why are you making me beg you like Emm had to beg Aatchi to move back into the apartment? Why are you making me beg like Michelle has to beg David for the truth and he's still lying? Why are you doing me like that? For those of you who are already subscribed and who have already liked, thank you so much. But for those of you who haven't, hit the button. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get right into this review, okay? This episode got me a little pissed off. But what episode does not get me pissed off? Child, let's get into it. So decision day is 19 days away. And we see Emm and Aatchi, they're going on a little ice cream day. And I said, okay, look at that. Aatchi actually greeted Emm when he walked into a room. Wow. So she says that she's letting Aatchi just date her now because she's going to just be, since that's what he claims he wants, right? So the date is very awkward on both ends. Emm is awkward, Aatchi is awkward, and they aren't really speaking. But what this shows is that Emm is the one who usually carries all of their conversations with all those annoying ass questions that Aatchi doesn't like. Yeah, okay. So Aatchi asks Emm what brings her joy. And she says, oh, this ice cream that I'm eating right now brings me joy. Food, feeling valued, feeling supported. So then Emm asks Aatchi what brings him joy, and baby, Aatchi gets up, he flips the table, and he was like, you see, that's what I'm talking about. You keep asking me all these stupid ass questions. I just want you to be. Why can't you just be? See, now that's not what he said, but is that far-fetched? No. Why not? Because Aatchi been showing his ass all season, all right? But Aatchi says what does bring him joy is knowing that he's going to meet his niece in Houston and seeing his family and going to homecoming. And Emm is like, oh, I would love to meet your mother. Emm, what's wrong, baby? What's the problem? Why would you even say that? Is that the way that conversation is going? Do you think that the way your relationship is going, that he would be like, oh yeah, I would love for you to meet my mother? Girl, no. So Aatchi curved her as he should. I wasn't even mad at him for curving her in that situation and completely ignoring that comment that she made because it made no damn sense, all right? And Emm, didn't you say that you were going to fall back? Is that... Okay, so now I'm wondering if she even knows how to fall back because, girl, why would you even suggest that or say that? Where's your pride? Anyway, Aatchi, he pulls out some cards to play a game, and Emm was like, oh, so I see you didn't wear your ring today. You opted out of wearing your ring. But Aatchi says that he was at home, he was washing dishes, he took it off, and he forgot to put it back on. But in the confessional, Emm, she's like, you know, that's my husband. I find it real disrespectful that my husband is not wearing his ring. And I'm like, oh, so you back to calling him your husband? What changed in the last episode when we saw you in the confessional and you said that you were not going to call him your husband and now he's your husband? What's changed since the last episode, Emm? Nothing? Oh, okay. And then to top it off, Emm is in her confessional and she's like, and he's also going to homecoming by himself. And I'm like, yeah, Emm. So with that, you should be able to put two and two together. But she's still saying, I don't know. I don't know where this marriage is going. I don't know how we're going to work through it. Okay, girl, neither do we, child. So next we see Tom, and he's giving Camille a massage, and they're really enjoying each other's company. Camille says that Tom is a gentleman, but that gentlemanness that he has, it spills over into the bedroom, into their sex life, and she really wants to spice things up. And I'm like, Camille, what you be doing? What you be doing in the bedroom? Because I have a feeling the same way that you wanted Tom to be all swagged out when you be in muumuu dresses all the time is the same way that you want Tom to do a whole lot in the bedroom, but you don't do much. And we're going to get to that because the funny thing is when I was taking these notes, obviously I take notes as I watch the show. I didn't know the conversation that we would get later on in this episode that we're going to discuss, but I definitely got the vibe that Camille wants a lot, but she's not willing to give a lot. Oh, we're going to get to that. But Tom does seem very blah. Tom does seem very blah. And I was like, child, if Tom's sex game is anything like that salsa dance that he did when they were on the honeymoon or anything like that run that he did when they were on the basketball court, yeah, he gonna need some help, all right? So next, we see the ladies, and they're all meeting up for a little soundbath session with Carla. But before they meet up, we saw a video confessional from both Madison and Michelle, and they were speaking about how excited they were for this meetup. And Michelle says that she wants to find out the truth about David's text messages. And I said, very interesting that they made sure to zero in and do a confessional solely with Michelle and one with Madison. I thought that was Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So Carla lets them know that the goal for the sound bath is to release negative emotions and to lead with love. And MM fills the ladies in on Aatchi moving out, meeting with the experts, him not wearing his ring, him going to homecoming and not inviting her. And Camille was like, oh, hell no. Camille was like, oh, no. And he don't wear Jordans. Girl, let him go. Let him go. All right. So Michelle, she jumps in and she's like, this marriage stuff is for the birds. And the way that I cackled when Michelle said that, because it sounds like it's something that she heard someone else say. And she was like, ooh, I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that out here. And she was so excited when she said it. I was like, okay, Michelle, good job. So she proceeds to tell them about the text messages. And of course, the camera pans to Madison again, and Madison is just giggling like, oh my God, what? And Carla is like, was he talking about food that he was cooking? And Michelle was like, you know what? It's actually funny that you say that, because he's saying that the text message came from his cousin and he was talking about food. And of course, they all start cracking up because that is absolutely ridiculous and it makes no damn sense. So it turns out that David was there with Alan and Madison, but David and Madison actually left when Carla showed up. But side note, the way that Madison was like, oh, Carla, as soon as you came there, we left. I was like, oh, is there something there? Y'all don't like each other like that? What's tea? Let me know. But Carla makes sure to point out that before she left, David was helping Madison look for her phone. Carla was like, yeah, I'm going to make one thing clear, okay? Because clearly Madison is trying to distance herself from David. Carla's like, nah. Let's bring y'all back here. Because at the bar, y'all was right here looking for the phone together. Don't make it seem like, oh, David came and you just left when I came. No. Carla is a girl's girl. I love her so much. She clocked it without saying too much. Because Carla's like, what you not about to do is mess up my chakras and my karma and my minerals and my rocks. No, ma'am. All right. Especially after I just gave y'all a free sound bath and I don't got no job. No, ma'am. So Madison tells Michelle that there's probably more in the story. So don't come down too hard on David. Just be calm with him. Be nice to him. And maybe that'll be a better way for you to get the truth. Now, it will be hilarious if Madison is giving Michelle advice on what to do with David when she knows damn well that she's been flirting around with him and sexting him. That would be crazy. Absolutely crazy. So meanwhile, we see the men there at a boxing gym, and Alan, he comes in looking like Slim Shady with that hood on. And Juan says that this will be a good way for all the guys to get their frustration out because some of them are having a hard time in their relationships. And they make a joke that Thomas is the only one in the group getting a release, okay? And I'm like, oh, don't forget about David, because I think David has been getting a release too. Not from Michelle, but from somebody, all right? And we see that Aatchi didn't show up. And it's because he didn't want to get his ass beat. I told y'all in the last review that his punches were weak and his form was off, okay? But they're like, he wouldn't have shared much anyway. You can tell that the consensus among the guys, among the men and the women, is that they don't really like Aatchi like that. And they don't feel no way when he doesn't show up because all he does is bring the mood down, all right? So Alan lets the guys know about Emm and Aatchi living separately and them just dating now. And David then fills the guys in on the issue with the text message and Michelle. And he claims that it was for his cousin and he worded it wrong. And now the perception is off. But Alan is like, yeah, but that's still pretty shady. Like, you got to admit, Alan is such a girl's girl. Or a man's girl. I don't know what to call Alan, but he is always standing up for the ladies, and I love that about him, all right? So decision day is 17 days away, and we see Michelle. She's meeting up with Pastor Cal to discuss the text messages and his cousin, Denise. And Pastor Cal says, you know that's weird, right? And Michelle's like, yeah, I know. I think it's a damn lie. And Michelle says that he's been texting women and meeting up with ones for coffee. And this is triggering for her because her parents divorced because of infidelity. So finally, David shows up and he gives Pastor Cal the same bullshit ass story. He's very defensive, very matter of fact. And Michelle tells David that the reason for her parents' divorce was infidelity, okay? And he's like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I'll be more sensitive to that now. David, you don't need to know that her parents divorced because of infidelity to know that you shouldn't be sexting and meeting with other women. Stop it, okay? So David starts laughing when Michelle brings up that he's been meeting other people. And even Pastor Cal was like, why are you chuckling? You see that laughing shit? You want to piss me off? Laugh. You want to piss me off in a conversation like that? Laugh. Because what the is so funny? Not a damn thing, all right? So dumb David thinks that because the woman that he met with was in a relationship, that makes it okay. Like, what's the problem? She's in a relationship. First of all, he's probably just making that up. Like, he's making up his entire story about Denise. And second of all, just like Pastor Cal says, Who cares? Who cares if the girl is in a relationship or not? If that's the case, why didn't you bring Michelle? Why you didn't bring Michelle? Like, hey, babe, I'm about to meet with my homegirl Danielle. I want you to meet her. If it was completely innocent, why didn't you bring Michelle downstairs? Why didn't you make it a double date, David? Yeah, okay. And David is like, oh, well, look, at least I'm being honest about it. And let me get into something. Let me get into some of y'all for a second, the comments, because some people in the comments are trying to act like David made like this boss move and is all big and bad for going behind Michelle's back. No, he got caught. He got caught. Now, had David went to Michelle from before and was like, look, you've been treating me like shit. You've been shutting down all my efforts. I'm not having it anymore. You clearly don't want me. So I'm about to go mess with someone who does. We can end this now. I'm good on you. He would have gotten a standing ovation from me. I'd have been like, period, David. That's how you do it. Let her know that she's not going to play with you. But that's not what he did. He snuck around. He slipped up. He lied about it when he got caught, and he is holding on to this dumbass lie for dear life, okay? So had he not fumbled that text message situation, he would still be sitting in this meeting with Pastor Cal and the experts talking about, oh, I'm just trying so hard. I really want to be with her. I really want this marriage to work. All I want is Michelle. Meanwhile, he's been texting and taking other women out for coffee. And ain't shit boss about that. He got caught. That's it. Yes, Michelle treats him like shit. Yes, David deserves to be with someone who actually is nice to him and who he enjoys being around. But the way he went about it, while being fake in front of Michelle's face and the expert's face, no bueno. No bueno, okay? So on top of that, he lets Pastor Cal know that he's not going to show the text messages. Of course not. And then he flips it back on Michelle and he's like, you know, the relationship has been really hard. She's been bringing up my lifestyle and this and that. And Michelle is like, well, why is this the first time that I'm hearing about it? Now, Michelle, you have been a complete and utter biatch to David. I've been saying that. I've been said I wanted to see how long David was going to let you play in his face. But the whole time he was playing in your face. So, child, I don't even feel that bad for David anymore, okay? Because what David can't do is stay in the relationship with you being a bitch to him. And then when he gets caught doing something that he knows he's not supposed to do, now he's like, oh, in this relationship, you've been treating me like crap, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's been the case. That's been the case. So why didn't you break up with her before you were sexting and meeting up with other women? Very simple, because now it looks like you were being fake the entire time. At least Michelle was who she was to your face. I know y'all wouldn't condone Aatchi cheating on and justifying it by saying, oh, is aggressive and she keeps asking me so many questions and I don't like it. So I just started texting other women and bringing coffee for other women. Would y'all be okay with that? No, y'all would be on Aatchi's ass because y'all don't like him. I don't like him either. And the majority of us do like and we feel sorry for her. But the rules don't change because you like David and hate Michelle. You got to keep the same energy. We got to keep the same energy. And it's hard. And it's hard, but we got to keep the same energy. So Michelle is claiming that although she kept rejecting David, the door wasn't completely closed for her. Well, Michelle, you definitely didn't show that, okay? You did not show that most of the time. But remember, in my last review, when they went shopping, I was asking, girl, are you staying with him or not? Because you've seen his finances and now you're trying to style his clothes. So what is it? Is it that Michelle really is just slow to open up like her family and friends are saying? Or is she just BSing this entire process? I don't know, but from what we can see, what we do know is that Michelle has not been meeting up with other men or telling them that she wants to gobble them up and swallow them up, okay? Michelle hasn't been doing that as far as we know. So Pastor Cal tells them, look, all y'all need to do is communicate a little bit more, and that is how y'all will get to the bottom of this text message situation. And he also suggests, that they bring Denise in. I said, P-Cal! You getting real messy, P-Cal. The way that I screamed when he said that, he was like, she should have the text message thread, right? I was like, P-Cal, oh my gosh. And he didn't stop there. He was like, you know what? Let's call her. He was like, let's talk to her. Let's text her now. And Dave was like, oh no, you know, this is my marriage. I don't want to get her involved. And Pastor Cal was like, yeah, but you already did though. You already did though. And she is involved because of you. And then he tells Michelle, you know what? How about you get the receipts straight from Denise? Yo, at this point, David was fuming. He was so upset. He was looking at Pastor Cal like, you mother... He was so upset, and I loved every second of it. But Michelle, she still doesn't feel like anything was resolved at that meeting, and she still feels disrespected. All right. So after their meeting with Pastor Cal, they go outside, and David is reiterating that he doesn't want to get Denise involved. And Michelle is like, why not? It'll prove that you're telling the truth. Why not? We just text her right now. Let's talk to her. And David is like, no, why do you care? And Michelle is like, well, I care now. Michelle says, I care now. Michelle, you care now because this is an ego thing for you, because you don't like David. We're not going to get that twisted. You don't like David, but I do think that you are starting to come around a little bit. However, it's clearly too little, too late, but that still does not give David a pass to do what he did, okay? Because all he's doing is flipping it on Michelle while he's still lying. Even now, it's not like he's like, all right, look, I was texting another woman because you treat me like crap. I was texting another woman because I don't like how you spoke to me, okay? He can't even man up to admit that he is still lying. David doesn't get any props for the way that he's going about this. No props at all, all right? So now we're with Juan and Carla, and he admits that the last meeting with Dr. Pia really scared him because he doesn't like tough questions and tough conversations. But even with that, at least Juan wasn't talking to Pia all stank the way that Aatchi was, all right? So they update her on Juan meeting Carla's parents and how well it went. But even with that, Juan still feels like they're still on their way to feeling like a married couple. Then Dr. Pia asks Carla about a photo on her social media where she's like very close to one of her friends. Y'all see it over there, okay? Over there. But Juan says that he doesn't care about it. And if he was good friends with Philip, he would probably be humping him too. So you'll hump Philip, but you won't hump Carla. Oh, okay, Jonathan. Okay. And Carla requests an exercise because Dr. Pia sees that they're able to openly flirt and be touchy with other people, but not with each other. Well, more so Juan than Carla. Carla has been trying, okay? So Dr. Pia suggests a tantric yoga session. And of course, Carla is super excited, but Juan is nervous. And like I said, Carla is really trying with Juan. She's being patient with him. She's willing to do the exercises. So I really commend Carla for how she's conducting this. It's not going to result in anything. Like, y'all not going to be together. But I appreciate that she's at least being patient and she's being a good sport with the whole situation, all right? So now we are with Alan and Madison, aka Allison, and they're meeting up with Dr. Pia. And child, Luffy the dog loves him some Dr. Pia, okay? Loves him some Dr. Pia. So they discuss how much they enjoyed that little twister game that they played in the last episode or whatever, even though they haven't really discussed sex since then. But they said that they did have fun. And I'm like, are y'all gonna tell Dr. Pia that y'all barely touched each other? That y'all made sure that y'all were on opposite sides of that little twister board? Are y'all gonna do that? No? Yeah, okay. So she wants to discuss their trust and their intimacy since it all goes hand in hand. And Alan says that he trusts Madison completely, but Madison says that she can trust him with her vulnerability, but not with all conversations. And then she brings up the disagreement that they had about the alcohol. And apparently Alan did say that he would limit himself to 2 drinks. Now, I remember Madison saying that he should limit himself to 2 drinks, but I don't remember if he agreed that he was going to do that. But Madison says that she doesn't like who Alan is when he drinks, because when he drinks, she sees little snippets of him that make him unattractive. And I'm like, more unattractive than you already are to him? Damn, that's bad, okay? And I wish that Dr. Pia went more in depth with that conversation, because I want to know specifically what those things are. I want to know specifically what Alan does. Now, I have seen from watching the show that, and I've said this before, when Alan has some liquor in him, he does, he pops off at the mouth a little bit more. He's a little bit more boisterous, but I would have liked to hear Madison articulate what she sees in Alan when he drinks that makes him unattractive, okay? Because I wanted to see if she was just pulling shit out of her ass like Aatchi did in that last after party episode when he was talking about Emm. If you missed my review for the previous after party, make sure you go and check that out, all right? So Dr. Pia, she has a little game for them to play, and it's called Just the Tip. And the purpose of the game is to help them have more conversations about trust and intimacy. And the purpose is to get some foreplay started between them. And they both claim that they're open to it, but I don't believe Madison for 1 second, because girl, you wouldn't even give Alan a peck on the lips when y'all were on that fishing dock, okay? So I highly doubt that y'all about to get into any type of foreplay. And Dr. Pia is like, you never know, Maddie, Alan might just rock your world. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? And Alan is sitting there quiet like, yeah. Alan, if you could rock her world, you should just rock it one good time and then dump her ass. Rock it one good time and leave her, okay? I would be cracking up. So now we are with Tom and Camille, and they're discussing their sexual activities with Dr. Pia, and they both love where they are in their relationship. And Tom says that he likes it when Camille initiates it, and she says that she's cool with it because that's within her nature, but she also wants Tom to take the lead sometimes. Tom, you got to break out of that shy guy stuff. I know you trying. Just put those Jordans on. Make sure that that earring is screwed in. Put a chain on and initiate, okay? You'll be fine. You will be fine. But Tom says that he's a giver and he loves to please Camille. And he be eating it up to the point where his neck hurts. I said, okay, Thomas, I love that for you. And I was just cracking up at the thought of Tom. You know what? You know what? Tom is the type where you gotta... You know what? Let me shut up. But Camille agrees to take the backseat more and give Tom the space to initiate their sexual activities. But Camille wants things a bit rougher than what Tom has been giving. And Tom says that he's game, okay? Now that he knows that Camille wants her hair pulled and she wants her booty smacked, he's like, you know what? I can do that. And I was all smiles. Until it was revealed that Tom has been giving and giving and giving orally. Okay, but it has not been reciprocated. I said, excuse me. I knew it, Camille. I knew it, Camille. I knew you wasn't there ain't doing a damn thing, but you want Tom to give you the world. So this man is just in the bedroom like, just eating and what? You don't do nothing? Girl, but Camille claims that she sees that action as something bigger and more of a later down the road type of thing. See, Camille, this is where you be losing me. Your rules for Tom be different than the rules that you have for yourself. The mouth shop would be closed if I was Tom. Oh, you not do? Okay, that's fine. But we gonna be right here on the same level. The mouth shop is closed because no ma'am. That just seems very unfair to me. And if Tom makes changes to please your desires, Camille, you should be doing the same for him, period. Okay. But Tom says that he's fine with it and he's willing to work with Camille on that. I mean, what else is he gonna say? But even Dr. Pia says, Camille, girl, you seem like you're fully unlocked. So like this talk about, once we get to that level, but you want to be spanked and hair pulled, but you don't want to please him. Camille, you pissed me off. Okay, you pissed me off. Now, if it's just something that Camille doesn't like to do, right, or she's not confident in her skills to do it, then say that. That's fine, right? That's understandable. But to make it seem like she's just not there yet, but she wants everything else, I feel like there might be a little bit more to it. I don't know. But that conversation does end with Camille pretty much giving Thomas the green light for him to do whatever he wants. Well, for him to do whatever to her, but she is still not gonna be doing whatever to him. Okay, so next we see Emm, and she's at her apartment all by herself. She says that there's no peace in the other apartment that she was sharing with Aatchi, and she doesn't know if she'll be going back to that shared apartment. And I feel like we're finally witnessing Emm slowly coming to her senses. And I love that for her. Do not piss me off, okay, Emm? So next we see Juan and Carla. They're joking and they're Googling the tantric yoga. And I can see that Carla wants to be a good sport and not ruin the vibe, right? So she's laughing along with Juan. But this is clearly something that is very important to her and that she's very serious about. And you can already see that this is all going to be a big ass joke to Jonathan, all right? So now we see David and we find out that Michelle isn't staying at the apartment because she has her own thoughts and assumptions. See, this is why we can't rock with David, because he's gaslighting us. Not only is he gaslighting and lying to Michelle and Pastor Cal, he's in his confessional doing it to us too. Hello? He really wants us to think that we're all crazy and stupid for even having the thought that he wasn't texting his cousin about some dumplings and chicken wings. Like, what? And then he's playing the nice guy role and he's like, all I can do is be patient and I hope that one day she'll believe me and she'll come around. All I can do is just, wait here and just be a good guy and twiddle my thumbs and, hopefully she'll believe me one day. David, shut the up, because you're lying, all right? Please, all those little woe is me confessionals that you used to do, they not gonna hit the same, baby. They ain't gonna hit the same because we know you lying. Go text Danielle and Roxiie. Why don't you do that, all right? So we're here with Allison, and it's time for them to play their little game. And is it just me, or is Alan's hair hella gray in this scene? Madison been stressing that man out, all right? But we do learn that Alan doesn't like dirty talk. That didn't surprise me at all. I can't even imagine Alan. Did I call him Allison? You know who I'm talking about. I can't even imagine Alan talking dirty. So yeah, Madison, she does not like painful or wild foreplay, but she does like fruit, whipped cream, and a little biting. Okay, Madison says that she likes to be on top, and Alan also likes his woman to be on top. But we learned that from the last game that they played. These games aren't going to get them in the bedroom at all, ever. Okay, so child, they played this game and then they're talking after, and Alan says that his initial assumption about Madison was wrong and it's not the way that he sees her now. He just got the impression that Madison viewed sex in a superficial, transactional way, but he says that that's not the correct wording. He just doesn't know how to phrase it, right? He says that he can't find the proper words to articulate what he felt, but he knows that he's using the incorrect verbiage to explain this to her, right? And he also says that he got that impression from the way that she was dancing at the wedding and how she dances at clubs and she sticks her butt out, but she gives party girl vibes. And now Madison is triggered because she doesn't like that label. And Alan wants to make it clear. He's like, look, I didn't think that you were just out here sleeping with people. I just thought that you gave party girl vibes. And Alan is like, well, I didn't think that you were out here like sleeping with people. And I was like, Alan, what? The way that she danced gave you party girl vibes. So if you just see a woman at a party and she's dancing and her butt cock out just a little bit, she's just automatically a party girl to you? Now, I can understand if you were saying that she's a party girl because she's going out and she gets drunk and she's always out with her friends right after you got to know her. But you're saying the initial meeting that you had with her at the wedding, you saw her dance and her butt was cock out a little too much for you. So she was a party girl in your eyes and you automatically thought that she viewed sex as a transactional thing? Very interesting. How was she supposed to dance? Because when I dance, my booty be boom, boom, my booty be out. Okay, it be out. So Alan says that by getting to know her, he doesn't feel like that anymore. Well, as you can imagine, that conversation did not end on a good note. And Madison says that she's okay, but she does start tearing up. So Alan leaves to walk the dog, give her some space. And she starts crying when the producers ask her how she's feeling. And she says that she doesn't like to be perceived that way. She's always had to fight to be taken seriously because she's so beautiful. And people don't think that she deserves what she has. Now, I can understand her thinking that Alan's comment was dumb. I also think that Alan's comment is dumb. Just because someone dances a certain way doesn't mean that they're a certain type of person. But for it to have this effect, clearly she's upset about other things and she's channeling all of that into this conversation with Alan, because I don't think that all of this was warranted. Or maybe she's using this conversation as an excuse to later justify cheating on Alan with David, if that's what's going on, all right? So when Alan comes back, they do discuss it briefly, and he feels bad, but nothing gets resolved in this conversation. But we're going to talk more about it a little bit later, all right? So now we are with Tom and Camille, and they're doing the blindfold, the ropes, everything, all right? And Camille goes and she grabs the damn avocado and shoves it in Tom's mouth, and she starts whipping him. And Tom had me cracking up in this scene because he's like, why are you doing this to me? I'm so nice to you. That was funny. And the whole time I was like, Camille, is this you falling back and letting Tom take the initiative? He's supposed to be tying you up, sis. And why are you dressed like a damn referee or like you work at Foot Locker? If you want to show him that you like ropes and chains and whips, and wear something. Hello? Wear something that fits that vibe. You are dressed like you about to clock in at Foot Locker, sis. And I was pissed off until I saw them switch positions and Tom started blindfolding her. I was like, okay, Thomas, let's see what you got. Let's see what you're working with. And child, Camille was like, hold on now. Wait a minute. Camille was like, hold on now. And child, Tom is pouring the honey and licking the honey off of her legs. Camille was loving every second of it, and I love the moment for them. But Camille, I need you. Put on something sexy, girl. Shit. So now we are with Alan, and it is past 1 a.m. and Madison went out, and she still has not came home. I'm like, maybe David is making good on his promise, eating up that meal that his cousin Denise sent him a picture of. Yeah, okay. But I'm like, so Madison, you're really using that little comment that Alan made as an excuse not to come home because you just need to be by yourself. You just need some time to think about it. Girl, bye. All right. So we see Madison by herself next, and she's upset because she feels like Alan pretty much called her a hooker. And she says that she's not mad, but she's hurt and she's disappointed. And I never want to invalidate anyone's feelings. I don't want to do that. Okay. But I just find it very hard to believe that she's this upset about what Alan said. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't know the girl. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, as a viewer watching it, I'm not buying that it hit her as hard as she's claiming it did. All right. So next we see on her balcony. Child, I know when Aatchi saw this scene, he got mad all over again. I'm sure he's looking at his TV like, see, why she got to stand on her balcony to make that call? She could have made that call inside. See, that's the type of shit that she used to do that would make me feel small and belittled. Because I don't have a balcony. And I don't have a karaoke machine. And her air fryer is better than mine. That's the shit that I was talking about. But anyways, is looking so cute. I love when she wears bright colors like pinks and greens. I just love it. This outfit is cute, sis. So anyway, she's telling Dr. Pia that her and Aatchi discussed it not being the best decision for them to move back in together. And Dr. Pia's like, hold up. She's really confused because Aatchi faked that whole conversation that they had last time where he was acting like he actually wanted to move in with Emm. And Emm also lets Dr. Pia know that Aatchi is at a homecoming all by himself. Although he promised to communicate with her while there, he said that he was going to text her in the morning, text her at night. He hasn't reached out at all. And Emm says that she hasn't reached out to him either. And I said, yes, Emm. Yes, Emm. Thank you. Thank you. I was so proud of Emm in this moment. So proud. But Dr. P is like, huh? You don't want to check on him and find out if he made it there safely? Why should she do that, Dr. Pia? Why are you encouraging her to check on this man who has been disrespecting her and ignoring her? Check on him for what, Dr. Pia? For what? You should be congratulating Emm for standing her ground, standing 10 toes down and standing on business. But Emm says that she doesn't want to reach out to Aatchi because she's afraid of the result that it's going to have and how his response is going to affect her mentally and emotionally. Yes, girl, protect your peace, especially because it feels as if she's been abandoned in the marriage and she doesn't know how to proceed. If Emm meets up with these experts again and they do not require for Aatchi to apologize, one, for calling her an a-hole, and two, for abandoning her the way that he just did without reaching out to her, I'm going to be even more pissed than before, because it's one thing for the people on the show, the people in the marriage, to act away. It's another thing for the experts to not require some type of respect when they have these meetings and not encourage apology. All they're encouraging is for Emm to communicate. Communication. What about respect? What about apologizing? Where is that? Where's the accountability on Aatchi's end? There is none. But if the experts do not require for Aatchi to apologize to Emm for anything, that's just proof that they allow him to get away with everything, all right? So next we see Juan and Carla. They're getting ready for their little session. And while they're waiting, a little plant catches on fire because, what's her name? Carla was like burning sage and the plant caught on fire. And Juan sees it and he's like, yo, bro, to get Carla's attention. And I was like, ew, why is he calling you bro? I did not like that at all. Didn't like it at all. It reminded me of when Aatchi told all the boys that Emm is his homie. Not feeling it, okay? So child, Miss Diana, she comes over in her little lingerie and she's like, look, I'm gonna get y'all right. I'm about to learn y'all something because I've been in the game for a long time, all right? So she says that she's gonna teach them how to breathe in synchronicity and how to honor each other by using their eyes. So they do a rose massage, and during this rose massage, Carla was trying her best to stay away from Jonathan's, his danger zone, but not Sister Diana. Sister Diana was like, oh, I'm gonna rub you down with this rose, okay? I don't care where it goes. She said, I don't care where it goes. And she's blowing on him and all of that. So Diana leaves. She leaves and she encourages both Juan and Carla to do the exercises that they learned with her on their own. And I got excited for like 2 seconds when Juan was like, how about we do it now? But Jonathan starts playing around as usual, making weird noises and putting the rose in Carla's face. And he's definitely not taking it seriously. And you can tell in this scene especially that Juan isn't even trying to impress Carla because he's not attracted to her. He's calling her bro. He's not even nervous around her. Everything is a game. And I feel like a man who really wants to please you, right? And who really cares about impressing you is not going to do this. He's not going to do this. He's going to be a bit nervous. He might try to make light of the situation with a joke, but it's not going to be to this extent, okay? He's going to put in some real effort and try to take it seriously the same way that we just watched Tom do with Camille in her referee shirt, okay? So next we see Alan. He goes and he speaks to Madison since they haven't spoken much since their last conversation. And Madison tells Alan how hard it's been for her to prove herself outside of her looks. It's so hard because she's so so cute. And I'm like, okay, girl. But that's why she's so hurt about it. But she says that she wants him to know that she truly isn't mad at him. And she knows that he had no malicious intent when he made those comments. So Alan reminds her, like, look, these were just my initial assumptions when I saw you. I didn't know you then. But he also reminds her that she made assumptions about him before she got to know him. And she's like, what did I assume about you? He said, you assumed that I was a pushover. And he had more that he wanted to say, but she cut him off. But I was like, facts, Alan, facts. As soon as he started getting into it, she's like, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there because you're trying to turn this on me. But I feel like what Alan is doing applies. It's apples to apples. You had assumptions. I had assumptions. I'm just telling you what my assumptions were as well, okay? And Alan makes another good point, and he's like, look, when I feel judged by you, I'm able to take it on the chin and we work through it. Madison has been telling Alan she's not really attracted to him. She don't like the way that he dresses since the honeymoon, and he's able to roll with it. But he's like, when it's reversed, you don't give me that same grace. And then they start going back and forth about Madison being more sensitive than Alan is. And she tells him, why are you all worked up? Why are you all worked up about this conversation? But girl, the way that you're standing, the way Madison was standing, I was like, is she trying to square up? Is she about to square up with Alan? She looked really upset as well, okay? And I think that it's because she thought she was going to be able to control this entire conversation, but Alan is hitting her with straight facts. Then he was like, how come you didn't come home till like 3 o'clock? I was worried about you. And she was like, what does it matter? I came home. Excuse me? Madison, you know what? You and David are perfect for each other because when y'all get caught in y'all shit, y'all act the same exact way. Y'all get defensive and y'all have this oh well type of attitude. Madison, if you don't get the... So Alan says that he had a dream that the show ended and he was forced to watch Madison get married to someone else, and it sunk his heart. And I'm like, Alan, I think you should prepare for exactly that. Isn't that crazy that he dreamt, if he's not making this dream up to act like he was really concerned? If he dreamt that for real, that's crazy that he dreamed something like that. And we might see that his now wife is going to end up messing with someone else. Crazy, all right? So Madison says that she's only sensitive to the things that Alan says because she cares about him. She cares about his opinion. And she says that he needs to show more empathy. And Alan is like, huh? What? How do I not show empathy? How have I not shown you empathy? And of course, because Madison can't give an example, she just storms off. That's all she can do, all right? And just like I said with David and Michelle, see how things aren't working out in this relationship? Am I not feeling Madison? No, I'm not. But still, the right thing for the both of them to do is for Madison to dump Alan and go her way, or for Alan to dump Madison and go his way. And then they can both run off into separate sunsets. Beautiful, all right? So even after Madison storms off and she goes back to the apartment, Alan still goes up to the apartment and makes an attempt to speak with her. And he really wants Madison to understand how much he cares about her, and not hearing from her for hours, especially at that time of the morning, it really had his mind racing. And he says that he was worried. He's like, look, I'm not in love with you, but I do have love for you and I do care about you. And Alan also acknowledges that all he's been doing is trying to appease Madison, but it does hurt when she treats him the way that she's been treating him. And he apologizes and he says, look, I'm going to try better. And Madison also says that she's going to try to do things differently than she's done in the past, in her past relationships as well. But being called sensitive makes her not want to open up. And they both agree that more communication is necessary. Honestly, I have seen these two have the same exact conversation like 20 times. Am I exaggerating? I might be, but it's too damn many times for them to still be having the same ass conversation when they're only 14 days away from decision day. Just break up, okay? But they do both agree that communication is necessary, and sometimes they may hurt each other's feelings, but that's part of the process, and they both care about each other. Listen, Alan, she don't care about you like that. She don't care about you like that. Now, I do think that she was concerned about him driving under the influence. I do, because I don't feel like you have to be madly in love with someone to not want them to pass away in a damn crash or get extremely hurt, right? So I don't think that just because she's not madly in love with Alan, that also means that she doesn't care about him possibly being hurt in a car accident. That I don't think that at all. But what we do know is that she does not care about him on a romantic level. Alan, just run, because your dream is gonna come true, okay? So child, next we see Michelle. She is on the phone with David's cousin, Denise. I said, oh shit, let's get into it. And of course, she asks her about the text message, And Denise blows David's whole spot all the way up. And she's like, look, David called me and he asked me to cover for him. And at first she was like, okay, all right, I'm with it, until she found out all the details. So I'm assuming that Denise is that cousin who David would always rely on to cover for him when he's doing his dirt. But now that David is married, she's like, you know what? I did it with your little girlfriends, but this is with your wife. I'm not part of that, okay? You're not about to mess up my chakras, period. And she says it's not right and she doesn't condone it at all. She also says that she never, ever sent David a pic of no chicken, no dumplings, no nothing, all right? But we already knew that. So props to cousin Denise for being a real one. And after that call, Michelle is like, okay, so she's in her confessional and she's like, all right, so now we got to get to the bottom of this. And I'm like, look, Michelle, are you staying with David or not? Are you staying with him or not? Because now it's just looking like this is a fun Scooby-Doo Blue's Clues activity for you. You thought he was lying. Okay, that's been confirmed. He was lying. So if you're not staying with him in the grand scheme of things, who cares who he was texting, right? Who cares? You find out he's a liar. That should be it. But if you want to find out exactly who he was texting, this, that, and the third, and you have all of these questions, is it because you do want to stay with him, you want to be with him, or you're just bored, or this is just fun for you? I don't know what the end goal is here, but as a viewer, oh, Michelle, keep digging. Keep digging, keep prying, keep asking all of those questions because I am here for it, all right? So, child, in the previews, we see that Camille may be having second thoughts about Tom. David is finally admitting that the message was indeed meant for someone else, and Michelle reveals that she thinks that the text message was actually meant for Madison. She also hinted to that, right? She hinted to that during the episode where she was like, was he texting someone from across the bar? Yeah, I caught that, Michelle, all right? So, child, I cannot wait for this couples retreat because we see Michelle at the table and she's going to be questioning Madison in front of everybody to the point where Madison gets up and she leaves and she's like, I'm about to just pack my bags and leave. Okay, so do that. You do that. Shit. We also see that Emm doesn't want to sign divorce papers from Aatchi. I said, Emm, what the hell? What is going on? But child, that was the review for episode 13. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the next episode. This season is so good. I'm so happy that I started watching this show. It's been amazing. Remember, today is your decision day. Hit subscribe, hit like, get in the comments down below. Let's talk about this episode. I will be reviewing the after party, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Then I was like, Alan, what? How is she supposed to dance? We not supposed to stick our booties out when we dance? Because my booty be out. I pop my butt. Bye.
Roxiie says we're gonna